Afternoon and evening, everyone. And this is the most exciting time of the week for me as we get to announce the latest rounds in the tournament and sort of discuss about what has happened in the tournament so far. As usual, in our morning show, if you're in the United States, we are joined here today with Brett. How are you doing, Brett?
Hey, it's a Monday morning. I'm doing.
Fantastic. As usual, here in Indonesia, we're already in the future, so it's already nighttime here. So the world is round, ladies and gentlemen. So if it is morning in the States, it is now nighttime in Indonesia. So how's your Monday so far?
I actually woke my lazy ass up and went to the gym, so that's a decent start.
Well, so that's the reason why we delay for 30 minutes, right? Because you need to go to the gym.
Yeah, yeah, I did.
All right, so let's get to it. I see we already have Chris here in the chat. Welcome, welcome. All right, let's get to the standings. So, for some reason, I'm number one, so this is clearly a mistake. Um, why am I number one?
I'm assuming you've been playing mostly Tywin, and for whatever reason, he's rated really, really low, which is a topic
No,
for another day.
it's
But
actually the other way
uh,
around. Gregor has been rated lower than Tywin this last couple of weeks. So I've been
really,
so
well,
yeah so
that's
yeah
probably
so I
because I
mean
keep
yeah
feeding.
so if you look at the sort of the power rankings, I think Gregor is now rated much lower. Well, not exactly much lower, but he is rated lower than. Oops, I think I pressed the wrong button. Uh, which is interesting. I did not expect that to be. So Gregor is now currently at negative 28. Tywin is negative 24. So I think part of the
Okay,
reason I've been getting a lot of points is because I've been rolling Gregor into all my matches.
well, that makes sense. I just had a look at your Gregor list.
Yeah,
It's I can see why it's working. I can see why it's working.
it's full of RNG, and I'll talk about it just to sort of like tell you what the game was between me and Jimbo. That was a fun game, so I'll tell you in a bit. So for second place, Eve 76 with his dream run of Baratheon is in second. I've seen his game against I believe it was Nectop when it was a Stark versus Baratheon, and he was rolling quite hot with his list. I believe he was using his Davos list. So he was running Davos in Lightbringer, and then in Crucial Turn he went Parlay to to I think like either the Flayed Man or I think like an Archer unit, and that seals the game with
Right.
Parlay. That was really something. Kudos to
Well,
him.
it's good to see a big clutch play with that card because I think that's one of those cards. In theory, when you look at it, you're like, well, situationally, this can be really, really good for exactly that. Like shutting off flayed men on a round where you can tell, that's their big play that they've set up, and you can really screw with it pretty hardcore. So, um, yeah, not a whole lot different from like Tywin NC
Yeah, I wanted to stream their games, but I think they had a game like either sometime at night or morning, so I couldn't really jump on it. But yeah, that was a very interesting game. Clearly, it was my bad for missing it. But yeah, it was a really interesting game. And in third place, we got Mikael with his Greyjoy list. I streamed a game between Mikael versus Dark Angels. It was Mikael. Sorry, it was Mikael versus I can't put the name to it. Sorry, I forgot who Mikael faced against this round. Why am I getting short-term memory loss? I can just check it.
I don't know. Yeah, we can just go look at the round.
God, I got a short-term memory loss. Mikael fought against Nightwatch Spleen. There you go. Whew. So that was an interesting game, and I'll tell you why it's an interesting game, because it with the proposed change that the dev was mentioning, this sort of result will not happen again, because Mikael was just sitting in the corner with protecting his Asha Ironmaker, and then I think Spleen was just shooting it with Ranger Hunters twice per turn. 2 plus armor save, and they won't budge. The Ironmakers won't budge. Um, and he eventually only destroyed like a unit of, I believe, trappers, which got destroyed. So it was real something. I know. Right now you really hate Greyjoys. Oh, it seems that we got a new subscriber. Thank you, Obey TV. Welcome. So yeah, that was something. Of course the score presented here does not really tell you what the game went, but it's just like that. Between Greyjoy's drip heal, I believe he was running his Asha list. With Wendy, of course there's Wendy, and they went for like 6 rounds. So Wendy was in total healing 12 wounds. So he's even more than Tycho.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's not so much that I hate Greyjoys. I think they're an interesting faction. For the most part, they're pretty cool. They're pretty flexible. I just and it's not just Greyjoys in general. Overall, I have kind of a beef with overperforming 4-point units. That includes my beloved Lannisters and their poor fellows. So it's not a Greyjoy thing. They just happen to have 2 of the more efficient 4-point units. But I think Trappers, it's less that they're super efficient and more that Asha is just wildly undercosted at one point. She does so much for one.
Sorry, Chris. I know I'm still fiddling around with the ad setting. I'll try to make it less of an interference. I just got my affiliate last weekend, so I'm still testing out how this ad thing works. I'll disable it, or at least make it like extremely short in next stream. Sorry about that. Still trying things out. So continuing on to this, we see Bloodraven versus Wape. This was quite a heartbreaking game for Bloodraven. I was house streaming it, and there were like 2 major roles that decided the game. The first one was Wape failing a 3 morale test with Poor Fellows, I believe. So the egg was dropped. And then Wape had 1 exact chance to equalize the game. So he charged, he activated his Flateman, which was subjugated by Camille, or Bloodraven. And then he had exactly counterplot to counter it. And then the Flateman charged, dealing 8 critical hit. Sorry, like 4 critical dice, and in total it became like, I don't know, like 8-10 hits, and then a panic task failed, and the poor fellow was gone, and that was that. So one shot from Flateman usually will seal the deal.
Yep, it's not something that you can count on doing, but it's definitely something that can happen. When you have a 6+ defense and the Flatemen knock you to exactly average morale, it's not really. It doesn't even take 4 critical hits. I mean, they can do it. I'd say you need 8 hits unless you've got a Hear Me Roar in hand. So, but it can happen.
Yep. So that puts Wape squarely in the 4th place here with his Ramsay Lannister list. And then we get Frerin with his Lannister list. I sort of forgotten who Frerin fought last round. I think it was against Stovetop, against Steven. So, that was really close. 12-10 for Frerin. Steven, Stovetop, if you're listening to this stream, like, how did your game went? This looks extremely close. And Frerin just got a chunk of tournament points from that because he used Tywin against Daenerys, Queen of Marine, and he got 3.5 ELO from that. Wow.
Wow.
If it was any other way around, like, I think he would have been number 1. Wow, 3.5, Jesus. All right.
Yeah.
That must have been a very close game. So congrats, Frerin, on that with his Tywin list. I think his Tywin list is also fairly. Oh, double Flateman and Gregor. Brett, are you seeing this? He's using 5-2. You like 5-2s, right?
I think 5-2 is interesting.
Sorry, 5-2. Yeah, it's 5-2, correct? Yeah.
But I'm well aware that Frerin isn't afraid to use 2 NCU because when I played him in the finals of the German event, he had a 2 NCU list, and it was kind of rough. Yeah, it can work.
He's also using he's also using another 2 NCU list in a second list. Interesting.
Yeah. I can. Yeah, that's a pretty nasty 5-2 there. You've got double flayed men, and then you've got a super tank in the Warrior Sons with Champion of Faith, and then you've got a solo in Gregor. So essentially, he's just you could basically run this list without Gregor and take the third NCU, but he's decided to bring Gregor as another combat drop and as kind of a third intimidating presence and kind of a threat to other units. So it's interesting. I mean, it's High Sparrow Pycelle that's probably two of the better NCUs that you can take if you're going to run a 2 NCU setup. You've got some defensiveness in Pycelle, and then you've got the Sparrow, who is an absolute healing machine when you have double flayed men with a Champion of Faith running around to provide the panic tokens, and then you've got 3 INT presence. So I can see why that would work.
Yep. Very interesting list. Really, really like it. And in a very, I was streaming this match, and I think I was streaming this with Carl. I think if it's up in the YouTube channel if you guys want to watch it. But Chris Strand versus Scott Bolton Skincare versus Dark Angels. This was really, really close. Some of the highlights in this game, in particular, is that so Chris opened up with Cunning Ploy to move up the Reaver's Vicky unit up, and then it tried to kill the Chariot. It ended up not killing the Chariot, and then Dark Angel used the token to the whatchamacallit, Craster's mini feat to heal them, and then it forces Chris to use again Sword, but it did not kill the Chariot. So then the Chariot just swift retreats away, and then the stranded Reavers got double tapped by the Spearwives, and that was the one of the best openings and also the other openings in this, the other things that was interesting in this game, there were a total of 3 endless horde being played throughout the entire game, because Dark Angel played it turn 1, and then and then Chris copied it on turn 2, and then he copied it again on turn 4. That was really something. And Chris said that, don't remind me. Yes, all right. Let's move on. I know Brett is also quite annoyed at Spearwives, so let's continue. All right, let's talk about my game for a bit. So, it was 10-20, 8-7. I destroyed 20, but this was, I think, a combination of some good rolls on my side, in particular of Gregor's survivability. Jimbo was running a double Warrior Sun list, which was God. How the hell do you get rid of these idiots, especially with Tycho Pycelle healing them? But then what happened was he needed like a 2 or 3 pluses to charge my poor fellows with Gregor. He failed. He took a panic test, and then he took 3 damage from that. And then my poor fellows just turned around and charged Gregor, and Gregor died. So immediately he was already on the back foot, going down to 7 activation. And then he made several plays, long bomb charging that failed as well with issue commands. He also charged through stakes to engage my Gregor, which dealt some bit of damage. But ultimately, it was sort of like a grind fest in the middle. Sandor ended up dying. My Stormcrow archers literally is kind of useless against the Warrior Sun when they're at lowest rank. But in the final turn, I managed to deal just 1 damage to the champion, the Warrior Sun, and then I hear me roar to finish it off. So that was something. But yeah, it's really, it was an interesting game. Jimbo played really well. He knew exactly what to get rid of and how to position. Of course, using the issue commands on Tywin with the Warrior Sun to charge. There were some unfortunate rolls from his side, but again, 2+ charge is the scariest charge run in the game, right? It's the scariest charge in the game, because you can just fail. And yeah, I ended up scoring the victory. Gregor just ended up cleaning everyone, and then yeah, got the win from that. That was lucky from my side. So for some reason, I'm just looking at my list right now. This is for some reason wrong list here for whatever reason. It's meant to be poor fellows with. Oh no, so I was looking at Jimbo's list. Never mind. Sorry. Yep. So that was just in short about my game. So let's talk about your game. What happened, Brett?
Well, a couple of really bad things kind of closed the game out for me, and I want to avoid sounding like a curmudgeon or like an ungrateful opponent or anything like that. I definitely did get a little agitated. Luckily, it was just basically me and Michael in the room, and so not a lot of people had to hear me. But essentially, I had what I wanted, but all except for a counter plot. So I to start it off, I took 4 wounds on my Sandor red cloaks from a front shot from Gravely Bowman. He hit 4 times. I failed all 4. I knew I was going to have to get close to the archer because I was out activated, but the crown was open and I had fealty to the crown in my hand, and his archers were panicked. So I had the idea that I would get some of those wounds back, and he ended up passing that panic test. I might have even played a Hear Me Roar on it. I don't think so, but he passed the panic test, so I couldn't heal from that. And then from there, let's see, what did he charge? I think I ended up having to pop Tycho early because he got the assault orders with the auto 6 charge. I can't think of a rush of aggression onto my Gregor red cloaks with his commander in Silenced Men, and he ended up doing like 8 or 9 wounds to Gregor. So I had to heal with Tycho. I gave a few wounds back to Sandor, which I hadn't planned on doing. And then his flayed men charged. I subjugated them, so the charge wasn't as potent as it should have been. But I think at that point I ended up having to pop Tywin to get rid of the flayed men's abilities because I was afraid that in the grind they were going to wipe out Sandor and I would lose the tempo. So I had that going. Sandor did some wounds to the flayed men, and I felt like it was enough that I could flank his flayed men with mine and take them out, which did happen, but he had What Is Dead May Never Die. And so he restored 3 wounds, and around he owned the sword, so he didn't die. And then Asha Trappers flanked my flayed men, which all of this can happen. But then like the icing on the cake was Sandor was down to 6 wounds, and I charged him, and Lannister Justice killed the flayed men.
Oh.
The one time I didn't want it to, right?
Because he had overrun?
Yep, he crit failed. Well, I had overrun when I charged the flayed men, and honestly, if I had wiped the flayed men, if he had not had What Is Dead May Never Die, I had an overrun with flayed men into bows that were panicked and vulnerable. They only had 8 wounds left. So I think I would have killed the flayed men, overran into the bows, taken out the bows, and then I would have been behind the Asha Trappers. And I think at that point, it might have been too much for him to overcome. His commander was knocked down to 4 wounds, and he'd spent most of his healing resources. And I still had Gregor alive on that side, so I could have been a little bit more aggressive with Gregor. But What Is Dead May Never Die interrupted overrun, so I ended up dumping it. But when Sandor killed the flayed men with Lannister Justice, I still had to charge. And I ended up charging and landing in a bad spot where I couldn't even see the bowman. And then he flank shot them, and with his rerolls and finger dance, he one-shotted not one-shotted. I think they were at 6 wounds, 7 wounds, but he just destroyed them even before the panic test. I think it was 6 wounds, and he did 6 hits with the vulnerable token and just killed the red cloaks. And then it was too much for me to recover from. My flayed men were trapped with Asha. I could not get rid of her in the grind. And then the bowman just double shot the flank. And then Gregor died somehow. Oh, it was from Bowman as well. Yeah, Bowman killed everything. His 2 bowmen actually did all of the killing.
Yep.
As we expected. Asha didn't do much. She just provided the weakened tokens and things like that. But the bowmen killed Sandor, they killed the flayed men, and they killed Gregor. So
seems like a rough game, but yeah, I mean,
yeah, it was ugly. It's just, it's to be expected. Did he have Roderick? I think he had Roderick the Reader, so it's to be expected that he's going to have those cards. I was just really hoping that he did not have What Is Dead May Never Die at that time. because it really just screwed with everything. But then it became unrecoverable when Sandor had to fail the charge and was activated and couldn't do anything to turn and face the bowman. So I knew I was getting flank shot, and there just wasn't anything I could do about it.
Well, as I think a game against Greyjoy is always about a combo breaker because you come in, you punch, they heal, they have what is that may never die. I think like it's sort of like a perfect foil against Lannister, who really just needs tempo to get ahead, and I think they're the perfect foil for Lannister because yes, we do have counterplot to up to counter his what is that may never die, but then you have things like we do not sow or even like Victarion's assault order, which we need to counter. So it is quite especially if we're running things like Gregor, like who just wants to get in and punch. But yeah, all right, let's move on before Brett gets too salty about it. It's still
Oh
Sunday.
no,
It's still
no, no,
Sunday
no.
morning. Saturday. Sorry, Monday morning. So let's give some positive energy here to Brett. So in the other table, we got Sir Jacob versus Chris. I think again, unfortunate Chris is running a neutral list. I think this is just an easy wipe for him. Unfortunately, he's running his Tywin, which I believe was the Flayed Man with Stormcore Archers against neutral's Dario, which is it's fairly okay. It seems like a fairly okay list. It's just that with all the attacks and all the activity, all the things that Lannister has, I think it just throws a wrench to neutral. We see Claw Moses against Reaperman Firman. Um, yeah, I think I think I saw this game. Well, not saw this game. We saw it on WhatsApp and they were talking about it. And I think after Claw just destroyed like 20 points worth of Firman's unit, I think he just resigned. Um, it was meant to be played on the table, but I think neither player couldn't arrange the time to do it, so they just did it in TTS. But Wart once against Jesse L. It was really close. This was a draw because nobody can arrange a time. Same thing also with Marsara on the top. Friendly Fat Octopus against Zooster. It was a Zooster's victory at 24 destroyed against Vicky. Bob managed to win against a Free Folk Mirror. I didn't see this game, but it was Tormund versus Tormund, so that must have been pretty exciting. Uh, Tom once against Carl, Greyjoy versus Night's Watch, and Kai once against Targaryen with his neutral. So this is an interesting game. So I want to talk about this game for a small bit. I think Kai was giving us the play by play as he was fighting Gaurail or Trescomas. I think in this particular list, Kai managed to sort of use his experience when running Targaryen list against his opponent because he was also running a unit with two Hedge Knights and the Bastard Girls and also Stormcore Archers. So these are mobile elements and these are sort of like the range elements. And opponent was using Jorah. Also had like 4 cavalry. So it was a cavalry on cavalry battle. I think Kai managed to use a lot of positioning and just a lot of his experiences in running the cavalry to his advantage, and I think he managed to squeeze out the win. So congratulations, neutral against Targaryen, and a big 3.8 ELO gain here for Kai. But yeah, I think he's just having fun in this tournament, just trying out new things. Yep, and I think the rest is we got just some rest. We got Dremdora versus Azunai. It was an Azunai victory. I think Jeffrey lost the last roll of the game with the panic test, so it went to round 6, and Azunai managed to squeeze the victory. Pavel against NSB. Oh, this was sorry. I had to apologize for NSB for this one because I accidentally still not retire him. I have retired him properly this time, so he won't stand to lose more points. Igloo versus 5 Goril. It was Tormund versus Stannis. Tormund won. And then lastly, it was Rossi versus Lordic, which, again, I should have also retired Lordic. So that was that. Let's look at the standings once more time before we move on to the next, our favorite part. So it looks like the winner of the 2 top tables here would be probably most likely going to win this tournament. It was fairly close though at 9.5, 8.9, 8.7. So there might be a chance that the point gain is higher for Mikel. So we'll see if Mikel managed to, even if he won, even if I won and Mikel won, Mikel could probably squeeze in more elo than me. So this is a possibility, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Wape is also fairly close to getting there. So let's see what the chat is saying. Final assault when Baratheon is yours. All right, so let's move on to the next favorite part, in which we determine what is the scenario is, and let's bring in the Wheel of Names. Can you guys see the Wheel of Names? Of course, you guys can see the Wheel of Names. All right, so we got Dance with Dragon, Game of Thrones, Winds of Winter, and Darkwing Dark Words. Would you like to tell me when to press the button, Brett?
Press the button.
All right. Let's go ring-a-ding-ding here. Oh, no. All right. We settle with the classic, the most classicest game mode, which is Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. The most classicest game mode that we have. Like 5 objectives, 2 VP for the commander. It's the ultimate experience when playing playing A Song of Ice and Fire. So yeah, here we go. All right, so let's roll for the next round. So here we go. This is finished. Game mode is a Game of Thrones, and all right. And I will be up against. Whoa. It's lagging. Of course, I'll be up against Eve 76 in Game of Thrones. Baratheon versus Lannister. I do not want to enter game, not yet. Anyway. So Eve 76. All right. So first of all, before we continue on to the players, we do have Christmas coming up in 5 days. So we will be extending this round to maybe like another couple of days, because I understand, a lot of players here will be away for Christmas. They have some Christmas party on the 24th, 25th, and maybe 26th. So we'll extend the round a bit for the finals. But yeah, let's try to finish it within a reasonable time, hopefully before New Year's. So we'll see what's up. I will be up against Eve 76. We'll see if Eve 76 Dream Run with Baratheon will finally be crushed under the foot of Lannister. We'll see how this one goes. He has been showing a great performance in this tournament, and we'll see if he can win against my Lannister. And in the next table, we got Mikel versus Wape, Greyjoy versus Lannister. So good luck with that, Mikel. Good luck with that as well, Wape. I would be interested to stream your game. Okay, Dark Angel, if you're watching this stream, you will not be fighting another Greyjoy this round. You'll be fighting against Lannister, because Dark Angel have been complaining to me that he has been fighting nothing but Greyjoys this entire tournament. So he's probably glad that he's fighting something not Greyjoy, but it's up against Lannisters, Frerin's Lannister. So we'll see how that one goes. Jimbo will be up against Stark, Lannister versus Stark. El Clasico. Bowart versus Bloodraven. Again, Lannister versus Stark. El Clasico. Sir Jacob of Glaze will be up against Marsara, Lannister and Lannister. Claw will be up against Targaryen, Steven. So Moses versus Steven. And later down the line, we got Spleen versus the One Ring. Nightwatch versus Greyjoy. Oh no! This friendly fire. Bob will be up against Chris. Ooh, Brett.
Whoa!
Ooh. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. All right. Well, I think they can play it out on like non-TTS if they want to, right?
Yeah, they could actually.
Yeah, but if you would like to stream, if you would like to play on TTS, I would be more than I can't say words. I would be more than happy to stream it for you guys. But if you want to play in just send me his resignation. Chris. Oh come on! I wanna see it against Greyjoy against the not the worst Greyjoy people. We'll see how many endless horde will happen this game again. Is it going to be 3? Is it going to be 4? Um, Tom will be up against Pavel's user in this. Yak 80 Lannister against neutral. So Kai against Yak 80. Chris FNM against Cyrus the Virus. Rupsevs, I can't spell. I'm sorry for misspelling your name, against Jesse L. And Brett will be up against Baratheon Azunai. So good luck with that. Hopefully you don't get your R Deep curse this time around.
Well, we'll see. I struggle with them.
Oh no, Brett is looking very confident in this matchup. Dakota
No,
will
not
be
really.
Dakota will be up against Friendly Fat Octopus. Carl up against Spirit. Sick Wolf against Igloo. Reaper Man will be up against Stress Comas. And I think the rest is still continuing. Joffrey.
I do need to say I'm sorry real quick because I called Dewan Michael. It was Dewan that I played last round, not Michael. I don't know.
It's okay.
How my brain.
I did also like a huge mistake to Dewan by calling him German instead of Belgian. I'm so sorry for that.
Oh, now he's gonna get you. Now he's gonna get you.
I was like, it was an honest mistake. Like, okay. So hear me out. Like, if you look at this flag, right? My flag, this one, and then you compare it to like the flag of Bloodraven, you would think we're from the same country because it's like red and white. There's like literally no differences between these flags. Like, look at it. Like, if you put them like side by side, then you can see that there's a difference. Like Marsala Claw, see, Poland, Indonesia. It's just flip color. So when I glance through like the One Rings flag, I go like, oh, German, and then just scroll it. It's an honest mistake. Look, at least I didn't like put U and UK like, oh, they're from the UK, from the United States. That will be a riot most likely. But yeah,
We'll forgive you.
one is upside down. Yeah, I know it gets confusing. Like when we had like the first, I think this was a I wanted to make this comment against Carl, but Carlo. I sort of forgot to make like the Indonesian flag like a bit more looking proper, because if you just look at this, like the white really blends in with the background, so it kind of look like it's just red. Again, also same with Poland one, is just red. Yeah. Anyway, I've talked about flags too much. So I'm guessing. So again, I just want to repeat that for this round, because we'll be going over Christmas. Christmas will be in 5 days, so we'll take it a bit slow this round. You can finish your game at any time. I know some people have been saying like, will there be a 5th round? I think let's just end it at 4th round as we initially agreed. So yeah, I think we might have another one of these streams just to sort of close out the tournament. So, but before we sort of go into closing, would you like to say anything about the rounds? Like, what are some of your more interesting matchups that you will have in this round based on this?
Well, I mean, from the personal side, because I have that active chat going and I talk to these dudes all the damn time. That Bob versus Chris match is going to be pretty fun. Because Chris doesn't inbox when he plays, but I'll probably be hearing from Bob because I might not be able to watch it depending on when they play. And so I'll be hearing Bob, who probably complaining about Greyjoy Bowman because he's playing Free Folk, and like long range is the enemy of Free Folk, and they're 4 points, so he's it's just funny for me. But I am very interested to see. Sorry, I'm sitting here and I'm getting a bad connection.
Oh, okay, go on.
And I don't want to misquote. The Marcel versus Scott match, the Dark Angel versus Freyren, should be pretty interesting. But I don't know. I think overall, this for me is kind of like based on the developers chat. This is kind of like a little bit of a farewell to
Hmm.
your commander sitting in the backfield scoring 2 on Game of Thrones. So it seems like an appropriate send off. Um, I don't know. It's just interesting because I feel like, yeah, that's just basically the name of the game in this one. Commander on 1 token in the back, potentially a unit on 1 token in the back, and then a fight for the middle. But I am just all too happy to see that disappearing. So the Marcel match versus Dark Angel could be interesting. Sometimes playing 2 NCU into Mance can be pretty punishing because of Wildling Diplomacy, particularly if he chooses the Tywin list that has Solo Gregor.
Hmm.
You can really, 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 really get punished by that card. So I'll be interested to see what lists are chosen, but I'm assuming that Dark Angel's going to run his Mance list because it's not really an aggressive scenario to be running Rattleshirt. The Stark versus Lannister one is always a classic. Oddly enough, this time in 1.6, Lannister's playing Stark in Game of Thrones. They are feeling completely overwhelmed and like they don't have a chance because the Stark puts 2 dogs in the backfield. They were,
Oh
yep,
yeah.
that was a classic 1.6. The dog on the backfield doing nothing. It's maybe flipped a little bit because now most games that I see, Lannister is out activating Stark, but Stark does the resilience game really, really well. So that one will be that's always a classic matchup to watch. It's always interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Stark versus Lannister, and we get it twice at table 4 and table 5. So these will be fun matches to watch. Honestly, I think all of it's fun
Yeah, I
to
think
watch anyway.
yeah, in the Discord I think I remember Winter is Coming is saying that there will be like it will be an all interesting final game in this round 4. I think we don't have a mirror, yeah. I think everything is not a mirror within this round. Oh, maybe Jacob
No,
against
there's a
Joe
Lannister
Sara.
mirror.
Yeah, there's a Lannister mirror, but I think majority is not mirror, which should provide for an interesting experience here. No, there's also another mirror, but compared to previous round where you just have a bunch of Lannister mirrors,
Yeah.
this round is a bit more diverse. Of course, there is also my matchup. I'll be up against Baratheon. This is mostly a test of metal for me. Um, it's just a player thing. So let's just discuss a good time for Eve. And I think if anybody would like to stream this, feel free to stream it. Of course, I can't stream it because then my hand will be shown, and I can't exactly commentate as I play. So yeah, if anybody would like to stream it, go ahead. Be more than happy to do it to give you guys the details. And of course, Mikhail versus Wape, Greyjoy versus Lannister will be interesting. Ooh, Chris just said that I will try. Again, we'll find some time in which it works for everyone. Because again, we need to first decide on a good time between me and Eve 76. He's in Russia. I'm in Indonesia. It'll be 4 hours difference, and against you guys, it'll be another 8 something hours difference again. So Wape and me will be playing soon. We'll be playing soon, like today, Mikhail, like literally today. If you are playing like literally today, I'll stream it straight after this. Um, oh, okay. Well, we might just need to close the stream and prepare for the next one. Again, before I close this, I think you mentioned some interesting comment about this being a farewell to like the things that we had over the last like a year or so. And I agree. I think this is part of the reason why we made the tournament in the first place because we knew that there's something coming. We just don't know when it's going to be. So there's 2 tournaments actually that will sort of be like a hurrah. This one and the one hosted by Ariakas for the Canada one. So these 2 will be sort of like the farewell tournament to this edition of Civ as we know it, because there will be like major changes for tomorrow. So
Oh yeah.
so
I
sorry.
mean, even without knowing what balance patches are coming, they've given us some hints about a couple of things. Obviously, we know double tapping crossbows will not be a thing. They've revealed that Relentless is getting reworked. It's hard to predict what else they've looked at or what other changes they've made, but even just those core rulebook changes, I think honestly they demand some type of meta shift. Now, it's yet to be seen what's going to work, what's not going to work, but Carlo does not reset ELO when it's just a balance patch, right? So we shouldn't see an ELO reset.
I'm guessing not. Well, he might discuss it later on today in tourney grounds. So this could be a topic you throw at him for whether it's going to be an ELO reset or not.
Yeah, it would be interesting because it's a pretty substantial core rulebook change, so he might view it as big enough of a change to justify an ELO reset. So we'll have to wait to see what Carlo has to say about that later this afternoon. But I think if not, it's interesting because you could see some changes to lower tier, and obviously some changes we know to Night's Watch with the biggest culprit of the negative play experience in the meta. You know, it could be an opportunity where some guys get a little bit cheeky and take whatever was weak and got some buffs and starts picking on Night's Watch, like beating the brakes off of Othel and getting like an ELO surge, like fuck you, Othel.
Like all these pent up hatred to Othel, man. All right, cool. So I think let's wrap it up for today's list discussion. I think we might have one last one, just sort of like a closing of the tournament and discuss like what's on top and how the matches overall perform. I'm very happy with how the tournament is run. Again, number one, we have 44 player entries. Average play rating is quite high, so this is technically a grand tournament with quite an interesting spread of faction. Of course, Lannister being the most predominant one, with Lannister having sort of like an overall 70% win rate, which is again the sort of the Lannister and Greyjoy sort of the expected participants of this ELO tournament. So this is something that that is also up there. But yeah, thanks again to everyone for sticking by. And if you guys want to have your matches stream, again, just let me know in Discord, and we'll set up a time if I can stream it or not. If not, maybe Chris can pick it up or someone else can pick it up. Any closing thoughts from you, Brett?
Yeah, just depending on what's going on and what time of day it is and stuff like that. I did, finally go buy a proper non-work laptop, so I am capable of doing streams as well. So it's going to be something I'm going to figure out. I'm going to figure out some stuff, so I might be able to do some of that kind of thing myself. But if anybody's streaming and looking for a co-streamer, just feel free to message me if things are going the right way at work and stuff. I might be able to fit in and commentate with you on a match. It's a really weird time with Christmas at work, so we'll just have to see how it goes.
Yep. So to everyone still watching the stream, again, thank you for sticking by. We'll have another one of these talk, I think, sometimes next week. Well, maybe after Christmas, just to sort of wrap things up. And thank you all for listening in this Monday morning, Monday evening, Monday afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are, because the world is round, so we are sort of like all over the world. And thanks again. Have a good rest of the Monday. Stay safe and stay healthy. And I'll see you guys another time. Bye for now.
See you, Dan.